Ahoy, Quest for Thunder. This week is much of the same that we've been doing for the last several weeks, a lot of sanding. So this is just a brief update just to let you know that we're still at it and we're still working hard. We're not quite ready for paint yet, but we're getting closer and closer every day. Some of you have asked about the timeline, and I guess what you don't know is that we both work full-time. And so we tackle this on our time off and weekends, etc. And so we have limited time, and we're doing the best that we can with the limited time that we have. So that's why it's taking as long as it does. But we are making progress. I know that it doesn't look like it behind me, but we are. And by way of update, this week, what we're going to be looking at a lot is chain for our anchor windlass. When we bought the boat, the chain that was in the chain locker was rusted into a heap, and when I started taking it apart, pulling it out of there, it was coming out in 4-foot sections, all rusted. So we had to get new, and unfortunately, there's very little information about my windlass type. It's an old Seawolf 520 windlass, and there is some information available out there, but it's not complete, and so there's a lot of guesswork going on. We've used a lot of forums to try to get as much information as we can about the chain types. We've got a buddy boat over here, and he had a couple of links of chain, so we brought it over and put it in there in the Gypsy to see if it would fit. And so through doing that and scouring the forums, I think that we've come to the conclusion that this particular windlass will accept 5/16, 3/8, and 7/16 chain. But the critical part, I believe, is the number of links per foot. And so we need to be in the 12.1 range for the Gypsy to retrieve the chain properly without jumping. And so that kind of leads us to 5/16 high test, the G4 chain, because it comes in the appropriate links per foot. We could also go with 3/4 inch, or excuse me, 3/8 inch triple B, but it's a bit more expensive, and it's a good deal heavier than the G4. G4 also has a much higher working load, 3,900 pounds as opposed to 1,900 pounds of the triple B. So I think that's what we're going to do. I've got a length of it here. If I can focus. Yeah, see G4 right there. And this is 5/16. And I went to West Marine, and they were kind enough to cut me off, I don't know, 8-10 inches, and let me bring it back to the boat to put it in the windlass and try it and see if it worked. And it fits perfectly. So I think that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with 5/16 inch G4 high test and call it a day. If anybody has any comments about this, if you have any more information about the Seawolf 520 and the chain types, if you have any experience with it and you want to chime in on this, please feel free to do so. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, followers, here's the question of the day. This is a Seawolf, if you can see that or not, Seawolf electric windlass by Simpson and Lawrence, Glasgow, Scotland. It is, I think, sized, the Gypsy is sized to take various different sizes of chain. This chain here, which I do not know what the size of it is, but I believe it's 5/16. And as you can see, bigger size chain. Now I had a boat buddy of mine come over, and you met him, Bill. He brought a length of 3/8 inch chain, and it fit in here pretty good too. So my assumption is that this windlass will allow me to use a couple different sizes of chain, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16 maybe. Yeah, I don't really know, and I need to get chain. I don't have any. This is the only length I have, which is about 1.5 feet long. I had to replace it. It was all rusted, completely rusted out. So anyway, anybody know? Be glad to hear from anyone who has any familiarity with this particular type of windlass, Seawolf windlass, and can help me out. So that's kind of the situation for this week. We're gonna pick the chain up here in a day or so, and and get it loaded on the boat. That's gonna be a trick. Just got finished at West Marine. This is what 200 feet of 5/16 inch G4 chain looks like in the back of my Tahoe. I have no idea how much it weighs, but I'm sure it weighs a lot. So now the trick is going to be getting this from here to the boat. That's going to be the tricky part. So I'll let you know when we get down to the boat and get going on the load out. The marina that we're in doesn't really have any drive-up access to the dock, and the carts, well, the dock is kind of, there's a lot of landscaping and there's a bit of topography around where the parking lot is, and so you got to kind of go down a hill. There's really no walkway. There's a set of stairs, but the dock boxes, I mean the carts don't go down those very well, and it's going to be loaded with chain, so that ought to make it interesting as far as getting it to the boat. Also, we're backed into our berth, and I guess I could turn the boat around, but that's a real pain just to load some chain. I don't know. I think we could just probably, the way we got the chain off was we just handed it over alongside on the, I guess it was the starboard side. We just sort of handed it off, and just, you know, hand over handed it, piled it in a pile. I think we could probably do that going back on, but I'll be sure to get some footage of it when we when we start doing it, so that you guys can see what we're up to. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this episode. It's short, I know, brief update. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can click on the subscription button. The little bell will also, if you click that, it will also give you a notification whenever we update. And look, share this, please share these videos and whatnot with your friends and your family, and help us to grow. It'd be great if we could grow. We are a small channel at the moment, but we love doing this. We love sharing this stuff with you guys. And if you have any comments or questions or cries of outrage, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section. We read them all, and we respond to all of them. So feel free to comment. We love to hear from you guys, and we'll be talking to you. We'll be talking to you later. And remember, as always, from the crew of Thunder, fair winds, and following seas.